Hey, what's going on, everyone? This is Ritchie Thomas, the Soldier's Coach. Hey, I wanted to do today's show about one thing and one thing only. Everybody asks me, I always get a lot of questions. Hey, what books are you reading? What books are you reading? What books are you reading? So I figured I'd do today's show, what I think the top 10 books every military service member should read before they transition out of the military. Let's get right to it.
That's good.
So I myself went to Syracuse College. They have an executive MBA with a focus on IT. And like everybody else, I want to get that MBA, try to stand out in the marketplace. But after looking at different colleges and online, I was like, well, I really wanted something just with some meat and potatoes into it. If I could just read an MBA book, like that would be phenomenal. So my first book on the list is the Personal MBA. This book is so dope because it jumps right into the meat and potatoes of what an MBA program really is. It talks about all aspects, from sales, from marketing, what any traditional MBA program really jumps into. So this is one of my top 10. Definitely, not even just military, but if you got kids in the family, high school, college grade, I highly recommend this for all. Or I think any adult in America needs to read this book. It's super dope. Some really heavy points in there, but it just takes out a lot of the key points of any business program. And I think anybody would get great value out of it because they really just focus on what a business is, the systems, the different processes there. But it's just really simple to kind of comprehend. So kudos to the author there. Phenomenal job. Easy to read, but just some really great points. Studying key success factors, some of the big, Fortune 500s out there. The Personal MBA is definitely on my list. So for the next one, I would go to, and I'm gonna just one more bonus point with this. I feel like I got my MBA without dropping 60 grand. Right? Information is information. Doesn't matter how you get it. The second one on the list is definitely one-on-one for finance. It's called The Richest Man in Babylon. Now, regardless of whatever religious affiliation you may be with, I think there's some key components here for finance. The big thing I'm fascinated with, everybody wants to go to school, go to college, make a six-figure salary. So we're taught to earn six figures, but we're never really taught how to manage six figures, right? We all want to go get money, but we're never taught how to manage money, which is really strange to me. So it's like we typically learn our money habits from our parents. So this book, just traditional, foundational, just a good ground level of financial principles, if you will. So I highly recommend this book for anybody getting out of the military, because as we transition from a soldier's mindset to a business professional's mindset, I think it is important to really focus on the finances. Everybody wants to secure the bag. That's cool, but we need to know how to manage the bag once it is secured. So The Richest Man in Babylon, super dope. Highly recommend that one. Next on the list, oh god, The Intelligent Investor. I lost the cover there, but this one here, let's see if the camera picks it up, is definitely on the list. Everybody's got $1 million iPhone in their camera, in their pocket, which is not a cell phone, it's a computer, right? And everybody's favorite app is Robinhood. Everyone wants to buy stocks and invest and become an investor, and you've never read one book on the stock market. Somebody sent me a text the other day. They were like, what's the IPO? I was like, delete your Robinhood today, right? So before we start investing in Robinhood, please pick this book up, The Intelligent Investor. Really just the basic, again, kind of a piggyback off of what The Richest Man in Babylon, financial habits. This is just kind of economics 101 here. So the difference between S&P and the Dow. I think it's great for anybody on any level, but especially for my soldiers to transition again from a soldier's mindset to a business professional's mindset. I feel like anything and everything in America essentially is a business, right? So this is important because, again, that business foundation is going to kind of chip away and help you see investment opportunities that you may not be aware of, investment terminologies, age-old principles that have stood this test of time. So The Intelligent Investor is definitely on the list. A little bit older though, so a little bit slower read, but just a FYI. My next book for every soldier to read is Shoe Dog. I want you to count how many times a day you see a Nike check. T-shirts, shorts, socks, the shoes, obviously. Some of y'all probably got on Nike drawers right now. If you're wearing drawers, hopefully you are. But if a billionaire ever wrote a book, you should read it. Phil Knight is a billionaire. Think about every Nike check you've ever had or seen in your closet. He's gotten probably $10 of every Nike product you've ever bought, right? So if a billionaire writes a book and tells you how he built his $1 billion empire, take the time to read it. But this is a really dope book, man. I really enjoyed this one. I felt like I was in the story with him. It goes all the way back to, like, I think late 60s when he started it. He was, went to college up in Oregon and was literally on a plane flying out to Asia to get the shoes made. They had no internet back then, so he couldn't send an email, so he had to do the contract physically in person. But Shoe Dog was a hell of a story, really inspiring. It is funny because I felt like he was brutally honest, and the big takeaway I got from this one was he had no answers, but he always found a way. So for my soldiers who want to start a business, or you don't know what that next move is career-wise, I think this one's super helpful because it'll really it's like you're having a conversation with a billionaire. So Shoe Dog by Phil Knight is definitely on the list for everybody who's getting ready to get out of the military. Boom. The next one, all-time classic, if you haven't read it, you've probably heard about it 100 times, is, that's right, Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. This is the end-all be-all, probably should be number 1 and 10. It's everything, right? So basically, to kind of wrap this book up, you've probably heard about it 100 times if you haven't read it. Whatever you think about, you become. And it's a really, really tough pill to swallow, but it's so true. You think about your friends, some of your family, but usually your friends are a reflection of who you are, right? So your house, the way you dress, the way you walk, the way you talk, it's all manifested from you, from your thoughts. So our thoughts become our reality. I didn't really like that when I first heard it because I didn't like my life at one point, the life that I created. So once you change the conversation within the mental game, this is what it's all about. So this helped me also see myself as a business professional and not just a soldier. So this book is super amazing. It's a very old book, but it really helped to master the mental game. So again, to transition from a soldier's mindset to a business professional's mindset, I would be doing you a grave injustice if I did not throw Think and Grow Rich on there. Way older book, so I might even recommend the Audible version because it is a slower read, but the nuggets in here, all-time classic. Next book on the list is super dope. This is Sell Like Crazy. I'm actually reading this right now. I'm halfway in, and I was like, oh damn, everybody in the military needs to grab this one. This is a bad book by Sabri Subri. I hope I pronounced that right. He's from Australia. A man breaks down the sales and marketing funnel for all business worldwide, right? So there's a core level of every business you got to understand. You have the greatest business in the world. If no one knows about it, you won't sell anything. So to transition from a soldier's mindset to a business professional's mindset, you got to understand basics of marketing and sales, practices and principles. And my man, he's claimed to, and I have no reason to doubt him, have over 1 billion impressions through social media ads. So he has a social media practice that he uses for all businesses to potentially use. And in this book, he goes a great deal about it. So sell like crazy, super important. And the biggest takeaway for me when this one was the psychology of the sell. People buy based off psychology, or people buy based off of emotion. And we in the military, we were trained for the combat battlefield. We were not trained for the economic battlefield. And a lot of the economics is tied to emotion, right? So supply and demand. So I think this book did a phenomenal job of breaking down how, when and why or where to get the sale and the marketing piece. So Sell Like Crazy is dope. Be excited to finish it. I should finish it by the time this publishes. The next one on the list is really dope. I love the author. He's amazing. Seen him speak a bunch. It's Powernomics by Dr. Claude Anderson. Powernomics. This is a great book from an economic standpoint because it kind of a piggyback off of The Intelligent Investor or The Richest Man in Babylon. It really breaks down group economics, right? So wealth, to build wealth within a community, a group, or generational, right? So it really breaks down foundation level upon level upon level. So if you take a good look, deep dive here at this one, I feel like it should have been written 80 years ago, or it feels like it was written 80 years ago, simply because just the principles, he did a phenomenal job of going all the way back. So a lot of the history behind our country, where the dollar divides and conquers different groups, specifically Black America. But I think, take race off the table for a second, I just think it's important there to really understand how the economy impacts different cultural groups from Black and white. But to see the power of the dollar or the impact of the dollar for all racial aspects. But I think this is key for every soldier to understand, again, economics from a different perspective. So I'm definitely adding this one on the list to help you transition from a soldier's mindset to a business professional's mindset. So check that one out, super dope. This one is one of my favorites, but it takes two hands to lift. So this is Tools of Titans by my dude, Tim Ferriss. I love Tim. He's amazing. His podcast, he's got the world's longest, besides the world's biggest damn book. I'm a big fan of his, his newsletter once a week or once a month. I think it's about as big as his book. So Tim is awesome because he basically, the subtitle here is The Tactics, Routines, and Habits of Billionaires, Icons, and World-Class Performers. Genius concept. He basically interviewed, I don't even know how many's in this book now, it's like 30, 40, 50 really successful people, like high peak performers, and he basically broke down their habits. Why are you successful? What do you eat for breakfast? Like, what is your routine? What do they see that most people do not see? But what's dope about this book is not just business. I mean, I think he's got like a world-class gymnast, a chess player, chess champion in the book, but it's all aspects across the board, some topics that you just wouldn't even think about. But I find it fascinating that successful people have certain habits in common. It's not because they all come from a rich family. So he really did a great job to me to break down the mental game. You're hearing it, it's like having a conversation with a bunch of billionaires. And not just money too. Some of these people just really impacted the globe in different aspects other than money. So Tools of Titans is definitely up there. I'm a big Tim Ferriss fan because he puts his heart in everything he does. Cool. And my next one, actually lost the book, but I'm gonna use this as a smaller one. So what I'm gonna go with is James Allen, As a Man Thinketh. Phenomenal book. It's probably my second, third favorite book of all time. I've probably read the book at least 5 times. Probably the one book I've read more than any other. Simple concept, kind of familiar to the previous book we mentioned here. What was that first one here? The Richest Man, Think and Grow Rich. Similar concept. You basically become what you think about. And it really does a phenomenal job of borderline biblical, but it really does a good job of having you take a deep dive in mentally. I think the book was written out late 1800s, early 1900s. Phenomenal at how it stood the test of time. And it just really kind of compounds on the idea that we become what we think about. And again, whether you like it or not, it's a tough pill to swallow if you didn't like the life you have. So I think it's really important to understand the mental game behind becoming a soldier, transitioning to a business professional's mindset. Boom. And last but not least, is probably one of my second favorite book of all time. It's called The Wealth Choice by Dr. Dennis Kimbrough out of Clark Atlanta University. Great grad school professor down here. I felt like I have an honorary MBA from Clark Atlanta because of this book. He's one of the smart professors who actually posts all of his classes on YouTube here. So I feel like I got an honorary MBA from Clark. This book is amazing because I didn't realize wealth was a choice and it was something you could pursue. I thought it was something that was given to you, usually from family. But he does a phenomenal job here, kind of similar to what Tim did with Tools of Titans, in that he interviewed, I think it was over 500 Black millionaires in the country today. And this book's, I think, about 10 years old, maybe 8. So it's pretty relevant, pretty current. But it just takes people from all walks of life who struggle, or grandparents or great descendants of slaves or whatnot, and overcome all type of obstacles from homelessness and just extreme poverty and build empires. I'm really fascinated on how or why people are wired into what they do. So this book, I probably see, is nothing but highlights and notes, and I think every soldier in America should read this book because it'll help you transition and see business from a CEO's perspective. So I think that is super important here. And last but not least, I'm gonna add my own book here, Your Final Marching Orders. I think I took everything I read and tried to put it in a book for 10 steps to how you can successfully transition out of the military. That's my top 10 books I think every soldier should read before they transition out of the military. And even if you've already transitioned out, read them. If you're, I'm always a big fan too of Audible. If you don't like to read, I like to listen to the books. I'm in the car, Atlanta traffic. It is what it is. Cool. It's all right. So that's my top 10. I will catch you guys next time. Keep pushing, keep pushing. More importantly, keep growing. I'm Ritchie Thomas, a soldier's coach. Thank you. Peace.
That's good.